Welcome to everybody who's joining us today for a webinar on the winner of the West African Forum for Climate and Clean Energy Financing, or WAFCIF as the event is known. This is an event that took place in September of 2019 in Abidjan at the headquarters of the African Development Bank and was organized by PFAN, the Private Financing Advisory Network. And we are going to learn more about the story behind the winning team and their project. I myself was lucky enough to be the coach of this team of the PFAN process that they went through, and I'm also really kind of connected to this team in an interesting way, where we've been a little bit like ships in the night with myself and the managing director of First Watt Renewables. So First Watt, started in very recently, but the managing director has been a Nigerian who went to Canada about the same time that I myself left Canada and came to Nigeria about 15 years ago to both support clean energy projects, advise them, develop some, and in the last 15 years also invested in a few through my own company. And so it's my great pleasure to introduce the managing director of First Watt Renewables, Wale Ojewe. And Wale, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce both yourself and how you got to become managing director of First Watt?
Thanks for the intro, Monica. I do appreciate it. My name is Wale Eweje, Managing Director of First Watt Renewables Limited, just referred to it as Watt. And as Monica actually mentioned in our intro, 17 years ago, I left Nigeria to go to Canada to study. And I can remember very vividly when I was leaving, I had this conversation with my friends around if there was anything else that I could actually bring back, or my coming back home would be looking at ways with which we could actually help solve some of the energy access issues that we had. Growing up, I grew up in a community that had significant energy issues. We had blackouts for 23, 22 hours out of 24 in a day. At times would go days without power. When I got to Canada, that conversation that I had actually really stayed with me the entire time. And it really formed a lot of the decisions that I made on where to intern, as well as what type of jobs that I picked up along the way. And during my time in Canada, I was able to actually work with the government in one of the provinces developing renewable energy policies or energy policies for their energy plan. And that actually really broadened my horizon on different energy mixes that could be used in generating power in emerging economies such as Nigeria. Fast forward 15 years later, we formed a company called Watt Renewables, a Canadian company where we did quite a bit of work in the Canadian space for both residential and commercial and industrial customers. We brought that experience with us back to Nigeria, as I had promised my friends, and we came into the energy space in Nigeria in 2016, working on residential, commercial, and industrial, including mini grid space in Nigeria. So Watt has been around since 2016, and we've been executing all different types of projects within the Nigerian energy space. So that's how we came about. That's how First Watt started.
Thanks, Wale. Tell us a little bit more about, not just how First Watt started, but how this specific project that won you the WAFCIF got started, and why you started it, and what impacts the project has in your view.
So this specific project actually does it for Watt. The intent of this project is to bring clean energy to Nigeria. We're looking at actually displacing diesel generators. Currently in Nigeria, there's about 200 megawatt of diesel generators installed in the country, which means that there are millions of liters of diesel that are being consumed on a daily basis. What we are looking at doing is actually bringing in a cleaner way of generating power. And this project actually gets us much closer to that goal. So for this particular project, it's got an impact piece, which I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about. And it also has an infrastructure piece. But most importantly for us, it actually ticks off that box of bringing clean energy and displacing diesel generators.
Excellent. And before we hear more details about the project, could you tell us a little bit about your and First Watt's journey with PFAN and how the PFAN process fit with the different sources of support and technical assistance that First Watt has benefited from in the last couple of years?
Absolutely. PFAN has been actually really great. We've benefited a lot from the PFAN coaching from a support and a technical perspective. So just share very briefly about our PFAN journey here. It's been about 9 months that we've been working with you, Monica, as our coach with PFAN. But prior to that, we were also working with another technical advisory group called Get Invest, formerly RECP. RECP of Get Invest did take our project to a point where we felt that we were almost there. And when we came into the PFAN network, it really took us across the finish line. We got significant hundreds of hours of support from Monica, from our coach. That's atypical of what you would get from a PFAN coach, to be honest. And I mean, I really can't count the number of times where we've had to call you, Monica, either on a Friday night, Saturday night, at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and you've really made the time to actually walk us through our business plan, things that we needed to add or remove, our financial model, how we structure a conversation, how we approach different individuals. It's the journey with PFAN has been really amazing. Getting us prepared for the business plan competition. Could have felt very tedious, was very tedious. It took a lot of time, but the significant benefits that we've reaped from having been winners and also even just going through that process is amazing.
Well, thank you, Wale. And I'll give you one last question. I wanted to know who you'd encourage to take part in the PFAN process and any advice you give them on increasing the chances of getting finance for their projects.
Absolutely. I mean, since we've won the WASF 4 program, I've had quite a few project developers actually reach out to inquire about PFAN and Get Invest as well. And what I always say to them is, don't go to PFAN if you just have an idea. You've got to go to them when you've got something that is actually tangible. You've got the plan in place. You've got your business plan ready. You understand what your business is. You know who your clients are going to be. You know how you actually want to secure your revenue. The coaches are there to help you. They will get you across the finish line. But it is really your responsibility as a project developer to ensure that you come into them with, I want to say, with some solutions that you have developed. They're going to help you look at it and help you make it investor ready. They're not going to do the work for you. That's not their role. Their role is to guide you to getting you to the finish line. So if you're a project developer that is ready to put the work in, that has already either A, ready to put the work in, B, has actually put the work in, and you've got a good enough product that you feel you're almost there, PFAN would be the place to go. They will get you what you're looking for. They'll get you close to what you're looking for.
Fantastic advice. And I think the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is give the folks more details about your specific project, and maybe a few slides on showing them a little bit about both the commercial and the benefits of the project that won you the WAFSEF competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, thank you. So the project that we're pitching here is a clean energy for telecom operations. We've got in Nigeria currently, we do have an off-taker that has got significant power issues. Our off-taker has got 1,000 sites, and they're spending a lot of money currently on diesel generators as well as purchasing diesel. This off-taker is very credible, and we've worked with them on actually transitioning 375 of their sites from diesel dependency to a low carbon economy. As part of doing that, there is an impact piece to all of this as well. We will be able to actually provide energy access to 667 small and medium scale businesses in and around some of the base stations as well. And we would also be displacing 20 tons of emissions annually with the project. With this particular project, our total project cost is 14 million. And so far, we've been able to secure 9.8 million in both debt and equity to execute the project. And we are looking for 4.2 million to get us to financial close. The 14 million, 80% of that money will be spent on equipment purchase, with the remaining 20% spent on other soft project-related activities as well. Now, I did say, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this is a great investment. And it is a great investment, not just because of the 34% returns that investors are going to be getting on their equity that they're going to be putting in, but it's also a great investment for impact investors because it also provides this energy access and infrastructure development in underserved and unserved communities in and around these base stations. Next. Now, our business model and our product is very straightforward and very clear. Our business model is energy as a service. What we are actually selling to our clients is not just clean power, but also we're selling them quality and uptime. So our client currently, most of the clients in the telecom space do go through periods of downtime because of aging infrastructure, because of bad diesel quality. But with the business model that we've got, we are guaranteeing them a higher uptime, and we're also guaranteeing them clean quality power to run their operations. Outside of that, I did mention there's about 667 small and medium scale businesses that will benefit from this infrastructure deployment. So where it's practical and feasible, power will be sold to these SMEs to actually help encourage economic development, especially in unserved communities in and around some of these base stations. In terms of revenue, our revenue is actually clear. We've agreed on a monthly tariff that will be paid by the off-taker, and this tariff is indexed as well. So for pure commercial investors, it actually hedges the forest risk that exists in working in developing emerging economies. So in terms of, I just wanted to also share very briefly, in terms of our our addressable market. The total market size in Nigeria is $4 billion, $4 billion. And for us, we're actually looking at a 10% market share of 400 million. And we believe that we actually do not only have the right product, we've also got the first mover advantage. We're actually the first company in Nigeria providing energy as a service in the telecom space. Not just providing it, we've actually executed it. Other tower telecom companies have seen what we have done. They've been reaching out to us and asking how we can actually transition them as well from diesel dependency to a clean carbon economy. And because of our first mover advantage, because of the quality of work that we do, because of the great customer service that we provide, and also because of the experience that we already have in the industry, we do see a very clear path to that 10% market share that we've carved out for ourselves. Next. Next slide. So our organization, I mean, very early on, I talked about the company, but I should also mention that we've got quite a robust organization. We've got over 30 years of experience in the energy sector that is actually behind us. We have a strong leadership team that has got many decades of executive leadership experience. And combined, we've got over 30 megawatt of renewable energy experience in our team. This particular slide just talks about myself and my colleague, Cherise Alexander, who is our Chief Investment Officer. So for developers out there, investors out there, either equity or debt investors out there that want to reach out, and those that are curious, I want to know what it is that we are doing. Not just in Nigeria, but that we're looking at doing in other parts of Africa. Got both myself and Cherise's contact on here, and we look forward to connecting with as many people out there to share our story and to also not just tell you about our great project, but to also tell you how great it's been working with PFAN and Get Invest. So
thank you so much, Wale. And thank you and I hope people do send in their questions to the contacts, both about your projects and any other opportunities for First Watt to continue this type of development. And I also wanted to encourage any developers or any partners interested out there in learning more about PFAN and maybe even participating in the PFAN program. They can go to pfan.net to learn more and hopefully especially those that are looking to raise money like First Watt in the range of $1 to $50 million, there's additional coaching and additional opportunities for events both across Africa and in other regions such as South America and Asia. So with that, I hope that this has been a great investment of everybody's time. Thank you so much for listening and hearing a little bit about getting a glimpse into both an excellent project and company that's up and coming here in Nigeria and the PFAN process as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you.